So with a clean brush, I'm going to grab some of this blue and touch into my thicker white. Actually, I'll use a palette knife to carry some white over here, that way I'm not polluting the whole batch of white. With this nice light blue, almost a sky blue, we'll just start with what's far away. Let's put in like a waterfall. We'll put it kind of there, maybe a little over there. And let's go up higher. You can see that it's pulling a lot of those colors into it that are already on the canvas now. See, there's some of that red coming in. And then I'll be able to take some of this clear, or this liquid white, and put in some splashes where it's hitting down here. And then touch into it again. Get some more splashes where it's hitting in here. So that's a pretty good start. I might want to take some of those colors, or the brights, and add them in as like some glints of, the water cascading over the features of the landscape there. Give it some ripples and washes, and you can see it kind of grab some of that red, some of the purples. And this will just give it some lively activity there. Maybe put a couple splashes here and there. Thinking that eventually it's bouncing off of something to be water falling. So that's like as good a start as any. So then that water has to be bouncing off of something. So we'll take some of this Van Dyke brown, maybe add in some of this Indian yellow, kind of give it a greenish tone. Grab some white, and we're just trying to marble up and give me some rock colors here. A little bit of this red. That's some good rocky red. And with that, I'll just cut on some pieces of it here and just give me some clip edges for it to bounce off of. There's a little landing there, some there. And you see how I drag it into the black so that you kind of have a sunlit area here. Then as you pull it out, it just kind of fades into the rocks below. Put some on this side too. I have a big rock right here. And it's nice and thick, so it sticks good. And if it's not sticking, either you have too much of your clear on, or it's too thin. So, just keeping it thick is the trick to getting some good rocks going. Give them some there. And these you won't see as much later on, but for right now we're just trying to build it up as, this is where the water's running off of something up here. There's probably up here is like the top of a stream or something. Go ahead and add him in some horizontal features there. That gives you something there. Remember, we got the same color. Go ahead and add some of these rocks down below too. And it may stay there, we may cover over them, who knows. But right now you just want to give it, a base. I always try to say that every 5 minutes you should be able to stop, and it kind of almost looks like it. You have a picture there, so for a 5-minute picture, that would do. But we'll just keep going on it and start adding some forest. All right, so to make our trees and forest that we're looking through, I'll start with some of this blue. I'll use this Prussian blue, which is a deeper blue. I might as well just add it to the color we had going there. And then I'll add in some of this bright yellow, and that should give us a nice tree green. And there again, I'm just trying to get the blue and the yellow to mix and keep it kind of I don't want to mix it into one color. I want to have a lot of different colors in there, because that's kind of keeps it lively. And with that, I'll take my 1-inch brush and load it up with those colors. And then I'll touch it into a little bit of this white over here, the liquid white or magic white. And that will make it stick to what's already on there. So from here then I can just try it just by dabbing a couple branches in there. And with this brush, as you turn it, you load it up kind of into a load, and then on the end of there where it's all in there, that's where you can really push and give it some branchy tones, shapes come out of it. I don't want to really cover in all the black. I'm just trying to have it be lighter at the top and work my way down. So I'll add a little more white to there, maybe even a little more yellow, and put some on this side too. And those are nice. So they're lighter at the top, but then as it's kind of catching some of that other colors, it'll mellow out and be more of a shadow. Now there's still a lot of paint loaded in this, so I can hit it different angles and get different shapes coming out of it. It's always fun to try. Here, I like to put some little shrubs down here with it. That works pretty good. A couple right here in the middle. You can even add a little bit of this deeper, warmer yellow to it and kind of get a whole different kind of green. Some of that over here. See how that really comes in very fern-like, so we can work with that. Kind of give us some little pieces of land here around the bottom. And as I stand back and look at it, I'm just trying to create, some depth and put the waterfall farther back. So maybe put a couple little trees around it here, bushes, create that ledge there. That's where the water hits first and it comes towards you. So in fact, these rocks over here, I can grab some of this light and the rock color here. Right here, I might even make these rocks a little bit brighter, just to kind of have this part be more forward than what's back there. So we'll just work some of that into there. Give me some different rock shapes adding to the top of the rocks here. I think that's pretty good. So that gives you a forest working its way back in there, and then we'll put some branches in front of that. I guess we can keep going here. We'll grab some more of this brighter yellow and some of this red and kind of give me an orange going here. And I can put that into the trees. Grab some more of that white. Give me some tree branches here. Just trying to have some variations so the trees kind of have shape. Like this green spot here, if I add some more of this lighter to the top of it, then that creates that into some branches. And that brings them forward, as it gets closer, it should be brighter and more defined. Some of that over here. Add some to these guys. And what else we can do is add some tree trunks. And there's a couple different ways of doing that. You can, go with a brush. I'll go with a brush here and just kind of add it in. And that I'm actually making the brush into a chisel point, so that on the edge there you can get your fine line like that. Or you can take your palette knife. With a palette knife, you can actually grab some nice colors and bright colors. That's kind of a pine tree red there. Get some of this dark brown, work it into it too. You want to make a thick super colors there. And then with that, then you can just add in some more defined straight trees, or even if you want to have one that's kind of coming out over in front of the waterfall. It kind of pushes, always trying to push stuff in the back, further back. So yeah, it gives you a nice leaning branch there. We'll add in a couple more thin ones off of him. And one there, one there. really trying to define anything, just create interests to push the waterfall back further. And the other thing you can do with a palette knife is you can actually scratch in some sticks just by dragging it through. And normally on a lighter painting where you have a white background, this would make white sticks, but here you want to actually pull across the light areas and it'll make little shadows of sticks just to carry them out. Drag that light into there. That gives you a good kind of bonus there to highlight it. This, you can take this and touch on your log that's hanging over. A couple in here and in here. I was trying to add light things in front of where it's dark, and then putting in dark things where it's light. You know, it's that little contrast that really makes things show up. So here, this whole background here, I would call that pretty dark. So if I add some highlights to these trees here, some branches, then I'm already setting up for right here, putting in some nice bright branches. This side, it's already pretty lively, so I may end up just keeping it simple, not draw too much attention to it. But, you know, just want to really give it that feel like you're coming through the woods on a walk and suddenly you turn the corner and oh my gosh, there's a waterfall. So, and down here at the base, we can add in some water as well. But I think it's a pretty good start. I think we'll add some highlight branches to these trees that I just put in, and then we'll add some rippling water to the bottom, and that's about all it takes to make a painting, just for fun. All right, so I've got some yellow added, mix it in with that blue that we had on there. Should get a nice, bright, eye-popping green, like a nice spring green. It should really look good against that deep, dark forest background. I'm going to take a little bit of this liquid white, or magic white, add it to it, because I want this to be thinner than the paint that's already on the canvas. And then I'm going to use my fan brush. I have several kinds. This one's nice and trim and round. This one's beat up and worn. That's the one I want to use. I want to make some real distinct leaf patterns, and this will give me a lot more options. So I just kind of have to stand back here and just stab at it and just say, I think I want some bright leaves here. Let's see, it's not, need some more white. It doesn't stick on your first try. You need more and more white. So there's a nice little branch of trees. And a couple more here. Just trying to, I'm trying to take these water splashes and give it some repetition that kind of accents or carries those water splashes around to where you almost have like a speckled pattern going across all these base colors. Kind of where it carries your eye different directions. Makes you look at the whole painting instead of just one glance, 3-second glance. So you'll put some coming up kind of branches. And I think that's putting that tree out in front. Give them a couple more here. You really don't want to overdo it. It's real easy to start stabbing in too many, because I want these trees to be different from this tree. But I kind of want to fill in the spaces with what looks like a real tree growing up here, right here by the water, so he gets all the energy from the waterfall. And I'll put a couple more of these yellows over here, but as I'm putting them in, they'll should blend with the reds that are already on the page, give you a whole different vibe of color. Yeah, it's gonna be a nice splashy red. And right here with this black spiders, that's a prime spot to put in some really nice bright, almost white right there. Just to really bring this little lower foliage forward. Makes it look like it's at the front of, like you have to duck and go under there to get into the waterfall. Start getting wet. So yeah, that's pretty good. And then we'll go back to the greens here and deepen it a little. Still gotta have some of that magic white to make it stick. Right up here with this, not as bright of colors, but we still want to cover these branches or tie these branches into the trees that they're part of. And give you that layering of, there's the rocks behind, and then the darker trees, and then the lighter trees are up front. So that should give you a really nice energy of, you know, feeling like you're in the woods. I can even take some of this darker and use it as little shadow spots on the ones that I put on there that were bright. Because, you know, there's all this bright there. That's when I can grab some of this darker and just put in some little shadowy parts underneath that. Give that a shape. Because that really, it's not about having one color on top of another. It's having each group of colors create a shape where you can kind of see that that's a stand of branches. Just want to add in, you know, a lot of times we'll put in all the dark first to create like the backside of the paint of the tree. Let's see right here, it's like just begging for me to put some of this darker right in front of the light spot right there. Just to push that waterfall back further. Grab some of this reddish. Put them in there. That gives them the feeling like it's real wet and full of ferns down here. That's pretty good. A couple of those over there too. It's funny when you get something that looks good in one spot, you go, ooh, where else can I put it? And it's really easy to just overdo it. So yeah, I'll grab a different, give me this other one. Go back into this light again. I think right over here on this tree branch, I want to have some really nice, bright sunlit portions. Like the sun just got in there and it's just hitting these little bushes down here. That looks pretty good. So yeah, maybe up on the top. Like this waterfall's coming from somewhere and I don't know where it's coming from, so maybe I'll bring these branches up off the page right there. And here I'm just tapping, I want to cover the strokes of the trunks and just kind of blend them into the scene so that they don't look like it's just a big scratch mark in front of the bushes. So I'm almost pulling some of the color that's already there. So that gives it a nice feel there. This one tree coming out here, that could be like a broken off log. So right here where it's in the bright part, I grab some of this deep tone. And with this shorter palette knife, I go in there and just give me a broken log shape in there. Let's just grab some of this. Most logs are a nice rich wood color inside, so we'll mix that up. It'll be like the eye-catching color. And it's pretty thick paint, so you really gotta work it in because everything that's on there is already thin. So I could thin it out, but sometimes the best thing to do is just keep working at it until it sticks. Hope for the best. You know, or because it's a black canvas, thanks for reminding me, I can just pull the black into it. Like that. You know, there's different edges on these Howland knives. You have like pointy edges, round edges, and depends on which one you pull, you can really get some different shapes coming out of it. That gives him that idea. These used to hang over the water, and then last time it snowed, it just broke them off. So here, let's go ahead and put in a nice little black end to him there. That's what I was looking for. I wanted him to be sticking out there the way you can tell that he's just right in front of the waterfall. Nice. Okay. Maybe give him a little branch. This is where the bird will come and sit on it. Right there. That works. So now your choice. You can go over to that log side, or you can walk through all these ferns on this side. But either way, you're going to go over there just to take a nice cool shower in the waterfall. The waterfall itself, I think we could add some more highlights to. Now that we kind of have established where it is and what it's doing, I think I'd like to grab some of this just pure magic white. And with that, then we'll just kind of add in some little, like almost like sunny spots. Just to, and it doesn't have to be straight up and down because there's water bouncing off all these different things. And then down here, what we can do is take our fan, our 1-inch brush, get some of that on there, and just tap it and create like a mist. There's a mist coming up there where it's the bottom. Maybe a little mist up here too then. Just that spray. Not really moving the brush side to side. I'm just dabbing straight down on it to give it that little touch up here. I can just make the baby waterfall goes up higher. I'm trying to pull some of that blue into it. That blue we originally laid on there. And we'll add a couple more streaks of the white into it. Just that's pretty good. Maybe it's splashing off of that part right there. You can take a little bit more of this white and add some bigger splashes. That's looking pretty good. And right here, some extra splashes. And then down in here, it has some more splashes where it's coming as the water falls down here. It's got to come through the rocks and stuff at the base. So let's go ahead and give it some colors for that. Just add in some blue right here. And that blue looks way too deep, but that's because I'm intentionally trying to give it a deep bottom. So where this blue is here, it's not actually the top of the water. I'm painting what's under the water right here. And like right here, I have a little, and here's a little waterfall kind of through the rocks. Maybe another one over here. And it's reflecting all the colors around it. This is all the down in there with the fish. That gives you a nice bottom, nice deep bottom. Then on top of that, we can go in with lighter colors. Take the white and some more of that blue. Not much, but give me some good whites going here. And with that then, what I found is waterfalls, the white is at the bottom. Most people start at the top and pull down. I got at the bottom and pull up. And that's how I get my flow of the water coming out. And there too, put a couple splashes there where he hits the next level. And then a couple more here. Just ripples and splashes, and now you can see that's what's on top of the water there. Now I'll grab my palette knife, pick up some of this and some of that, a little bit of everything, and then I'll put in some little shorelines, kind of show which way the water's zigzagging through the rocks here. Even a couple on here, I can use the edge of it and keep some little flow lines coming up there. There. That looks pretty lively. Now at the bottom, put the water in, but I want to have some rocks there as well. So I'll grab some of this, almost the same tone as the back rocks, a little darker red. But then I'll add some of this white to it. And you hear I'm just kind of mopping up whatever colors around there. Never really trying to get a nice, clean, pure one color thing. But right here, just add in some of these rocks. And then maybe there's a little one right there. And then over here, it's all that water splashing off of that rock. I'm just putting the highlights on the top of them. This rock is a little, maybe even got a little green on the top. He's right in there with the mosses and all the water stuff. Again, it gives it interesting shapes. Now you can see the water rushing through there. This rock here needs some highlights on the top. And two. And there's a couple little rocks over here. That's where you can walk down and put your toes in the water. This side, you got a little bit. Gotta have something for these little ferns to sit on. So we'll put them in over there. And grab some of this deeper red. Give them a little shoreline there. There's a little muddy spot there you can put your toes in. So, yeah, I think that's pretty good. And the last thing a friend of mine would say is put a bird on it. So, let's see. I think we'll grab some of this and some of this, and some of this. Give me a nice deep dark color. And right in here, I'll just put a couple little swallows flying by. Those swallows just love to swirl around wherever there's water. One there. One there. Let's see. One there down here. He's going right down in. Go up at what's sitting on this log. Can't really see him. Bird sitting there. Another one just flying by right here. Underneath that one. Just put another one. This is where it's hard to stop. His one wing is going over the blue, so his other wing is going to have to be white, so you'll be able to see it. That's pretty good. Give him one too. And this other one over here, give him a darker. Yeah, he's diving in there where the water is. So that's pretty nice. I think we can stop with that. So thanks for watching.